Yeah.
Pat, Scott?
Have we heard from them?
Scott,
What?
Scott and Pat both commented on my dog bite. So I mean they've been in communication with me this week. And I'm pretty sure they'll probably be on in a minute, but we have 3. So.
Okay, then we're all set. We can call the meeting to order at 6:01. Is there anybody from the public joining us? I don't see anybody. Okay. The minutes from last month's meeting. Has everybody had a chance to read them? They were, we got them online. And anybody have a correction or addition or subtraction? No? Okay, I move that we approve the minutes from the May meeting. Do we have a second?
I'll
No.
second it.
Sally second.
Okay, Sally. All right, President's report. I don't really have a report. I guess it is. April and I already talked about this, about the sign on the front of the library about wearing masks. I mean, not the big sign that says please wear a mask, but the little sign that quotes the health department and has a picture of a kid. Is the sign says we're requesting for the New York State Health Department recommendations that patrons wear a mask in order to protect children and other unvaccinated people. And I object to that because what kind of policy is that? I mean, other people either are eligible for vaccination and choose not to, or they have a health issue that forbids them to get a vaccination, in which case, why aren't they wearing a mask? I mean, does anyone think that a lot of people with serious health problems vaccinated are come to the library without wearing a mask? Oh, huh? Nobody has an opinion? We need to be protecting vaccinated children, which means children under 12 and children over 12 who obviously would have to have their parents' permission to be vaccinated. So that we would have to protect them as well. I see no reason why we're saying that we're doing this for a reason that doesn't make sense.
Sure it does. It's respectful both ways.
Pardon?
I said it's respectful both ways. And it's an extra measure of protection, whatever, being just careful.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the beginning.
We don't really know a lot about this virus, and what we were first told has changed some, and I just don't think you can be too careful.
Well, that's a personal opinion. That's not something that the library needs to say. The library needs to say we must protect children who come here that are unvaccinated, which is probably a lot. Hi, Scott. I was talking about
April.
Discomfort with the sign in front of the library that said we're asking patrons to wear a mask to protect children, obviously, unvaccinated children is what it should say. And that's it. It doesn't need to say and others who are unvaccinated. That means that, they're going to be vaccinated forever. A lot of people, they're never going to choose to be vaccinated. And when the time comes around for when they decide we need booster shots, they're not going to get a booster shot. So in essence, you're saying we should wear masks in the library forever.
I don't know. I'm telling you, my brother works for the health department in Albany, and last I knew, he was still home. So that's my lead. He's still working from home. That might have changed, but I know they were thinking of going.
If he goes out in public, it's his choice to wear a mask or not if he's unvaccinated. If he's unvaccinated and doesn't wear a mask and is breathing COVID into the air,
I don't
those of
know.
us who have already been vaccinated, it doesn't matter.
Delivery people come to my house and they're wearing a mask.
Delivery
Bottom
people to the
line is-
library?
Bottom line is you just want to say anybody coming into the library should have a mask, period. That's what you want, right?
Don't explain why.
No explanations, or to protect the children, whichever. You want everybody coming into the library to
Yeah.
wear a mask.
Just say, that's
I
a
don't
good
see a
idea,
problem with it.
Susanna. Just say you have to wear a mask at the library. Fini.
I don't have a
Because
problem
anything
with
else sounds, what?
Well, I don't know. I think that that at least pointing out, given that there are a number of children at the library, wearing a mask indoors at the library would be consistent with what pretty much every school system is currently doing. All school systems are pretty much now requiring masks for indoor use, not outdoors. And
Yeah.
the
So if we
large
just
part of
say
the
you have to
reason
wear a
is
mask
because
at the library, right? We don't get any
Well,
justification
many
for it.
people respond better if there's a reason. So if no one's arguing that wearing them for the protection of children we're okay with that. We can edit it to stop at children
Yeah.
if you
To
like.
just say we
Yeah.
should wear, to please, if the policy is wear a mask. Isn't that enough without editorializing?
Well,
Oh,
people
yeah.
will ask, and then we'll say for the children, they go, "Oh, okay." So if we tell them at the
Does
door,
anybody,
it's for the children, then it's
I'm not saying that I object to wearing a mask in the library. I don't have any problem with that. I have a problem with going on of talking about, well, why, because that didn't make sense. We have to protect all the unvaccinated people. I mean, no one else is protecting all the unvaccinated people. School has to protect, because all the children who are in school cannot choose on their own to get a vaccination. They're all under 18, or 99% of them. So we must protect everybody in school, right?
mm-hmm.
Okay, I guess nobody has any real opinion on it. I would make the suggestion, I certainly don't think it's a board matter to make a motion or anything else, but I would suggest that we simply stick with the library policy, or you can say library policy as per the New York State Health Department is to wear a mask in the library. I don't know if the State Health Department said that. I mean, I read their
they
website.
strongly advise that anyone, if they strongly advise for people that it is where it's unknown if people are not vaccinated, that everyone wear masks to ensure that that we know.
Yeah, well, but that's fine to say that, but to editorialize.
Okay.
I'm
So as
sorry,
for the
I
health
object to
department.
that. Yeah, fine, because
Mm.
it said we had to do it, right? This week.
Right.
Next week,
I believe
they
that was
something else.
pretty much a quote from the health department.
Well,
And
they
you know, again,
hedged a
you
little.
can, you know, I look at this purely from a matter of pragmatics and to hopefully make the lives of library staff less unpleasant. I don't know how much pushback library staff has already gotten about mask wearing, but I don't know if anybody else has noticed, but once the CDC said that, you know, if you've completed your course of vaccination, it is no longer necessary to wear a mask. in most public stores. I have, over the last couple of weeks, seen the number of people wearing masks out and about in public stores plummet. And, you know, given that people are the way that they are, I don't doubt that there are some people that may, for whatever reason, you know, push back and say, well, I don't have to wear my mask in that stinking Walmart. Why should I have to wear it here? And there is a possibility that at least simply stating that because children frequent the library, we are requesting by the library policy that you wear a mask.
That, well, but if it just says you have to wear a mask, have you had people, April, objecting?
We haven't had a lot
Have
of
you had-
problem. The first day that it was okay to be without one, I actually sat out on the bench and said, we're still requiring masks because we serve many children and we are an educational, you know,
Right,
we are-
exactly. And that makes
That's-
sense.
it does. But
Denise.
the sign that's been on the door since then has also included a picture of a child with a mask on. So, and we have had people, parents feel very safe because
Yeah,
believe that-
exactly. And the kids can't, the
that's
kids
yeah.
choose to be vaccinated. They have to go
Right.
do what their parents, you know, will require them to do.
Precisely.
So they have their house, they can't choose, so we have to protect them. I absolutely agree with that. I think we should be wearing a mask there, but I don't agree with saying that to protect everybody who's not vaccinated.
Okay, so what we're gonna do is just edit it to include children and not the rest. Is that okay?
That would
That would be
more
my
than fine.
suggestion,
Okay.
unless you find that that's, you know, violating some rule.
I don't think it is violating any rules. This is because we are more cautious than we need to be by law. Yeah, I don't know if it's even a law. I mean, it's just a strong suggestion, you know.
Yeah, yeah. And you know, we all know, we've all listened to all that for a year or more, that they change their mind every week. So as long as we're making sure to protect all the children, no matter how old they are, what, you know, or what the
Mhm.
circumstances are, and we have to do that. And that makes sense. That's all that makes sense, I think. And I'm not going to talk about it anymore unless anybody else wants to. That would be it for the president's report. And we're to the financial reports. The first one, the financial reports for April 2021.
I'll move to accept the financial reports for April. Can somebody second it?
Susanna.
I
I
will.
will second it.
Sue
Who was that?
second. Sue Culver seconded. Susanna made the motion.
I have
Okay.
to say the sound keeps cutting out. Is that my computer or is that everybody?
I think it's you because I see scrolling on your face at times.
Yeah.
If you want to, you could shut off your video and it might help your
Yeah.
audio be stronger.
Shut off.
Do you know what
Shut
I mean?
off
'Cause
what?
just your video.
No.
It might give more strength to your connection because it's
Oh,
the
if I shut
video
off the
uses
video.
more
All
oomph,
right.
and then we can still hear you.
Okay.
Hello, Pat.
Stop.
I don't
Welcome.
know what happened. I having a hard time getting in.
Oh,
Okay.
well,
We'll see
what
if that.
you've missed is we reviewed the minutes and they've been accepted. And Sue Culver wanted to, she thought just letting people know that wearing masks in the library because it's the right thing to do for children is enough. If you want to go into that, Sue, more, I think that was the gist of it. And we just
And
went over the
then-
financial report.
Okay, I
Right.
went through all those
You
documents.
did, right. So there's the abstract of claims is up next.
Okay. Do we have a motion to
Can we
accept?
change the format a little so you can see it? I don't know, I had trouble. Now it feels very big, but at least I can see it well. And it was for a total of 55,122.42, which is very low for us.
Right.
So
Yeah,
I guess we didn't have any item. Did we only have one payroll? Sure. No, we had to have at least two.
No, there was 2 payrolls.
So I
But
guess
there-
we just didn't, no
there were
construction
3
grants.
last month,
Yeah.
and there's very few expenses.
Okay. We'll have to go shopping.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I
Who
will
was that,
second.
Pat?
That was Pat made a motion to approve,
I
Okay,
will second it.
and then Scott with a second.
okay.
okay, are we at with the finance?
Are with financial and the director's report seemed kind of long this time, at least to me. What I did is because there were so many different things, if there was a webinar, I've got notes. So if anybody had any questions, I can kind of look it up. I put the commentary here behind it. You didn't get that, but I did. I could send it all to you that way, but I mean, really, do you want to read all of that?
No.
I have been, there's just a plethora of webinars going on. I think that a lot of changes are going on. So then there's a lot of people offering things. There's just quite a bit. And so I've been popping in. At the very least, I sign up probably for more than I do see. Understanding the role of public library director, which was, you know what you do, but it was interesting to see other people. And the one thing that it left me with was a woman said, you just go home and you know that having a milkshake for dinner is enough. Not talking to your family. I thought, well, I can relate to that sometimes. And I sometimes will forward the recordings to staff if I thought they were interesting. And Diane was like, wow, I didn't realize all that you did. And I remember, you don't know what the principal does until you become one. And as you're a teacher, you're like, what do? They don't have kids, right? And sometimes if you don't work the desk, what is it that you do? So it was kind of, it was a good one. And marketing, a lot of the directors actually went to the marketing one, and we're talking about amongst ourselves at the Wednesday director meeting, what we might do and how we might band together to do some of that, because it is difficult for each library to do marketing. Not as much for us, we have more staff, but your smaller libraries, even more so. It's difficult for us, but even if we did some kind of commercial or anything like that we could all share, that would be a mid-York type of thing. So it's got the juices flowing. Bridge Talk, the Tulsa Race Massacre 100 years later. So there were a couple different things being offered on that. There was a book written by, and I do have a little more information, and he spoke about that, and it was actually quite moving. The footage on that. Also, let's see. I attended it. This took a long time. Amended has been going on for probably 3 or 4 months, if not maybe only one a month. So maybe even 6 months long. And it's been a podcast that they've done, and it's through the humanities and how they looked into women's rights and actually anyone's rights to vote, as it were, because suffrage was more than just white women trying to get the right to vote. It was many people getting all different races and their fight to get the right to vote. The places you'll go. This was an intellectual freedom, and it started with the Seuss books, but it went beyond that. It went like, what are you doing with your collection? How are you developing it? What's important? Maybe if it's what we ended up doing with our Seuss books is really just put them in reference, because even though they're not supposed to be sold on Amazon and whatnot, they all of a sudden they became valuable, like on a black market type of thing, because you can't get those 6 books anymore. So people
Wow.
started stealing them from libraries. Very nice. People are nice. That's a big deal. Not our libraries. Usually public libraries don't have awesome collections, but there are some places, public libraries have some old documents and other research libraries, and things are stolen from them because they're priceless. There's only one of a kind. You know, we don't have one of a kind things so much at our library. I mean, maybe there's some, but not super valuable one of a kind things do we have. So that came up. People were chatting about that. We did have a building committee meeting way back May 18th. It's hard to remember. And then I talked a little bit at that building committee meeting that I was talking about possibly putting in a car charging station at the library. There's many going in at either public government buildings, town halls, those kinds of things. So they're approaching us, and basically it would be of no cost to us. There would be eventually the electricity being used, but it's not a big charge. It's kind of, I don't know if it's as inexpensive as plugging in your laptop, but I know we don't really notice a difference when we plug in our car at night. So, I mean, yes, we do use electricity, but it's not crazy that we go, oh my goodness, it'd be cheaper to buy gasoline. So I'm sure that there's a way to figure all that out. So I'm kind of just monitoring that, and we might look into that at some point, and I'll give you more details if we do. The HR 101, asking experts about, just everything. That one was mostly, I think Shar goes to these with me a little bit too. Things about record keeping and just keeping abreast with whatever's new. Building safety plan. That was, we talked about that a little bit. I skipped one. Vaccine hesitancy. That was really not for libraries, but it was for a nursing home, and how it was the administrative effort to just continue to educate and continue to have it be a safe forum for people to ask questions. People of color, and there was, there's been medical experiments on people, Native Americans, just pretty awful things have been done in the past over the last couple hundred years. So sometimes, because Tuskegee, all these dreadful situations that people have been in the medical field and in testing on people. So it's a lot of times the medical profession is not trusted, and how it was in DC, I think, and how they did eventually get many of their staff vaccinated, but still not everyone. And I was interested in how they did that, basically making it as safe and comfortable to ask questions as possible. So I did attend that. Building safety plan meeting. If I only remembered what that's about. It was June 1st. It's all right. Obviously it wasn't that memorable. We can keep going. We've been working on the backyard garden to get it to be a butterfly garden, those kinds of things. It's so funny is a lot of butterflies like weeds, they don't like the cultivated things. They like milkweed and that sort of stuff. And so it's not necessarily, are they always pretty, but we've come up with some bee balm is in there. So we planted these raised beds, and we're starting, and we're working with some master gardeners and chatting with them. And, maybe in the next year we might get some more butterflies back there. So that's been a fun project. The designing for the future, I still have yet to see that one. So pretend I went to that one. Passive programming. So that's something we're doing a lot of, all those bags being sent home. Janae and Jamie are doing these, which Susan commented on it. It was almost like a mystery. You don't know what's in the bag. So the wedding is this month. And we even had a $100 donation from a woman who just loves these bags because they kind of spoil you. You take them home, and there's maybe a bottle of sparkling water in them. And nothing's really expensive, a bookmark or whatever. And the patrons are very happy with them. And that's called passive programming, because we're not really doing it right at the same time. Like teachers, just think about that. You're not lecturing. It's not everybody focusing on one thing at a time. Is you take it home and you unpack it and you do it at your leisure. So that's what we're considering these passive programs. And it was a workshop on those and how to do that. And we did continue to do the bring your own book. We might end up taking those out into we used to meet out at Stockdale's. So we might start to go back out, but it's tricky, you know, to break bread with people is different. You know, you're breathing on people from, you know, again, many of us are vaccinated, but not everybody is. So it's, at what point is it okay to be out into the world again? Literacy Coalition, pardon me? Pat, did you have a question?
No, I didn't.
Okay, sorry. So Literacy Coalition, I'm still part of that. And basically, you know, libraries are at the table and I tell them what we're doing. The Rotary Food Drive, we did get over 1,000 pounds. I still have food in my car right now. I tried to make a delivery, but they weren't open today. I'll take it tomorrow. But I know on Thursday, I think it's at 2:30, the Rotary is going to meet at the Whitesboro Central School, the high school. And apparently WKTV will be there. And I want you to know that the mask that we wore for COVID fit right over all of this. So it's really cool. Nobody will know. Some dog attacked me. But we're going to present that and talk about it. Oh, don't mind my dogs. I love dogs. Girl.
April,
Yes.
was the library collecting food?
Hold on. Let me shut my door. Go sit down. Okay, so Rotary Club, with North Utica Whitestone Rotary Club, that's what the library is a member of that club. And we were a drop off for people. So quite a few people brought food to the library. And there's always another time. we're gonna have a fundraising. We also have scholarships for students at Whitesboro. It is one of our schools that we raise money for. So
April?
this was just something else that we did.
April, just for your information, there's a bunch of peanut butter and hazelnut spread at the library for that.
I know, and now it's in my car because I went to the library to sign checks and do things I was there from 1:30 to like 3, and then I drove over to the food bank and they weren't open today. It's all right. Okay, let's see what else we have. Library operating capital improvements budget vote. Oh, this like our budget vote passed. So I wrote that in because I think to myself, okay, in 5 years when somebody's reading this minutes, who cares, right? So they'd care about the budget vote.
Can't talk.
And then we had the DAC meeting, Directors Advisory Council meeting at Mid-York. I should add Mid-York to that one. So we had that meeting, and then we've been doing the Mid-York Directors virtual meeting. Mark set those up, and then I host those, and quite a few people attend. So they're quite thankful that we have those. Yes.
I have a question. So the budget's both passed, right? But what about our new trustee?
Yes.
Oh, that's Pam Donovan. As far as we could tell, I sent it or Shar sent it. So Pam Donovan is a library. She was asked if it was okay if she would be a write-in later, and she said she would like that. So it was cute because we had some people that knew her name and remembered it, and so they wrote in Pam Donovan. But some things were like Pam Donnelly, and then there was something else Donovan, I think. So she had enough votes to be elected, and she's part of, I know she comes to the library a lot, but she's also in Janae and Jamie's book club that meets. So I'm going to give her the trustee manual. You know, you think I'd know. You guys have been all, I think Susanna's the only new trustee I ever had. So then Mid-York has trainings a lot, but I'm going to give her the manual when I see her next time.
And when does she start? When does she start? In October?
She starts October 1st because Susanna's with us till then.
Yeah.
Well,
So she can drive me. She can drive me then because she's right near
she could. She lives over on Cortland.
up the street. Yeah.
That would be perfect.
Oh, that'd be great.
Okay. Let's see. So CLRC meeting still going on. We had a board meeting. Nothing crazy exciting to report there. Oh, the Utica Chamber annual meeting. We didn't have one last year because of COVID, so we did have one. There were some interesting things. I don't know if I highlighted it, but one of the they had What's Upstate is a kind of a catchy way of them. They're trying to market upstate, and there's a lot of interest because there are people that are really not going to go back to work in their physical plants, or at least not the 9 to 5, right? They're going to report in with their colleagues at work. I know a lot of people who haven't been back, insurance, people that don't really interact with a computer. And so people can move if you think about it. And so real estate up here is much more affordable. And so fun things are going on with the chamber, just because we are close enough to say New York City, that if somebody had to get in a car and drive, but if they only have to be there twice a month, they can live anywhere, or they could even fly down, All right. Then I did go to this energy connectivity funds for libraries. It was a little baffling. I just was emailing Sandy from Mid-York about it. It's kind of like E-rate, and it really seemed to be beyond the public library. Not that we couldn't do something, but it was, if we did do something, it would be in conjunction with the public libraries. And we are not you would have to prove that you couldn't get access. I mean, there might be a financial reason you couldn't get access, but when COVID became a problem and we weren't going to school, there was a way for, if there was an income issue, cable companies there was funding for cable companies to go to households and put it in, or make it more high speed or something like that. So I believe there's just not enough people in our service area that don't have access to internet. It's just that they might not be able to afford it, but that's not I don't think that's something that, I don't believe the hotspots. There are places like Old Forge that would maybe need it, because you can't actually get cable to somebody's house. So when I was listening, and I'll get back to Sandy about it, and maybe we'll talk about it a little bit more tomorrow, and how much as a system we think we need to do that. But that's what that was about. So lots going on. And we are, as we talked about earlier, we are opening up a little bit more, and we're having, as far as meeting in the community room, and we're going to, there are patrons who are willing to share they don't have to, but if they want to be in the community room without a mask, then they can share with us their vaccination status. And then we know that they can play a board game 6 feet away from each other, and they can eat and all that. And we're comfortable. And the other patrons are comfortable that they know that it's true, that they are truly vaccinated. So
Wait,
that's
Chris,
that's a
can
shift.
you hear me? When
I
was
can hear
in
you,
the
Sally.
When I was in the hospital, I volunteered to show them my card that I was vaccinated, and nobody wanted to see it. I thought, wow, of all the places, you think they'd care here, but nope.
You go to a Yankee game, they care.
Oh,
So
well, there you go. I mean,
make sure you have it available. Okay, so that was the director's report. And Sue, do you want to take over, or you want me to skip through?
No, do we have old business?
I don't think so.
I have a couple of questions. I don't know what it would be for.
Okay.
Number one is that, do we have a community room open for meetings for people that want to use it?
Yes, we do. People are meeting in the community room.
For no charge, right?
No charge. We
Okay,
only have the one right now, the large one,
oh,
because our staff we spread out because of COVID. So the two downstairs, it got, but
oh, so it is open, right? Because I don't think New Hartford is open yet. Their
and we
room.
have the outdoor one too. We have the tent so people can meet outdoors, and then we have the lawn in nice days if
Yeah.
it's not raining.
Well, my organization was meeting at New Hartford and they are not open yet. Their room is not open. So I don't know. So I was asked to ask if we had a room that was open. It's not for many people, but I didn't know if we.
We do. Dennis would be a good person to talk to about the calendar. So if you talk to Dennis, you can either email Dennis
All right.
and he would know.
And another thing is, do we have the plans open for the public to see what's happening with our building project? Is there somewhere, there's it on a board or something that people can look at to see what the stages are that we're going through?
Well, I did print those, but we don't have the next, Julia's going to, I can put those on the board, but it's not necessarily phased. Do you know what I mean? It shows that what's going to happen in the long run,
Yeah.
but
Well, people-
what's going to happen immediately, we don't really have.
Like people ask me, what's the next step and how, you know what I mean?
The next step is making Dunham House a little bit more accessible.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, so we're going to button up the that bay window and do the bathroom in Dunham House isn't really very accessible, and then put a little kitchenette in there. And that's the big, and then also we're working on the details of it, and how much each section, each phase of it cost, or each piece of it cost. So then we are going to, by next meeting, we'll have a better idea. We're trying to, this is what I believe is going to happen. So don't hold me to it, because I don't have all the details of it, but the kitchenette and the bathroom in Dunham House, along with that bay window. And then we're going to basically do the downstairs. And we're going to do, there's a little, there's the bathroom that what would be considered the former men's room downstairs. I believe we're going to take that out and have a pass through into the workroom. And then we're also going to look into that book drop that's going to go into the workroom. So there's a few, the exact details about it are kind of unknown. And then as another section that could be added on is the downstairs bathroom that would be in the foyer. So that's another part of it. And then that elevator area, the roof for the elevator area that is not leaking necessarily, but in the winter time, the snow builds up to a point where it goes up the wall so far that it goes over the step flashing and then comes down and melts, and then it leaks into the elevator area. So there's nothing wrong with the rubber roofing. It's just, it's so awkwardly designed that it needs to be fixed. So that's,
so we do have money to do that.
oh yes,
Now
we do.
Now for the next phase,
Yes.
wait to get more money to do like the next phase? We have to.
Well, it all depends on how much Mid-York, how many people, if no other library needs any funding, we'd have $900,000. But I'm pretty sure other libraries are going to want some of that funding. So we're going to put in our project and say, this is what we want. If there's more money on the table, then we'd like to do this part. And if there's even more money on the table, possibly from even another system, which is what happened last year, we're going to have yet another one ready to go. We're not going to let any money sit on the table because we have quite a few projects. So that's what we're working with Julia on, is these little steps to phase one.
Okay.
So downstairs Dunham House, maybe upstairs Dunham House if there's enough money, and then that one bathroom. So that's what we're working on right now. So
Okay, so
that'll
the-
be
Yeah,
on next agenda, or I could even call a building committee meeting to say, okay, this is what's happening. But I think we've all agreed that that's within
Mhm.
reason, that's what our next project will be.
so the area between the Dunham house and the library, that one little area in the front where the book drop is, that area has a tree or something.
Yes,
So that's not gonna be there anymore, right?
it's not necessary. No, it's the plans are that will be a kind of a patio that goes across
Right,
there.
oh,
Yes, because right now that apparently that bench is in a bad spot. So if you
Yeah.
were really, if you came to that door and you were in a wheelchair, you
Well,
would have
I just-
difficulty dropping a
just-
book in there.
Yeah, I just think the public should know what our plans are, maybe on a board or something, what's
Okay,
happening.
I can put the board out, but we haven't quite decided. In the next month, we should really have it figured out.
Okay.
And then on that board, we could probably put some, I
Right.
think it might be confusing to do it right this minute.
I know, because
You know
people
what I
are,
mean?
what's happening, right? And what are we
Right,
doing?
we
Yeah.
we won't know exactly what's in the future until probably August. We'd have a better idea in a month from now.
Okay.
But we'll actually submit the construction grant in August formally with all the details. But July 9th, we're supposed to have a pretty good rough draft proposal put forth, which I should have, because Julia's working on breaking down what they're going to do. But she had it the whole project, and I'm like, whoa, that's too much. We can't do that. We needed it broken down into some more pieces
Right.
that were manageable. Julia, the architect.
Good, thank you.
Okay. No, thank you. So I don't have any new business
Okay, what about
or
announcements?
announcements. I guess we,
And you do have a
Um,
communication from the fire department?
right. The same thing as before. They have a fund drive, and in fairness, we don't pay taxes, and if we had a fire, they'd come, right? And they do come if the
Absolutely.
smoke detector goes, or if anything goes off. They see the police come and the fire department come. So I would propose that, and I should know how much you gave last year. The board gave. I don't know, Shar. Do you know how much we usually donate to the fire department?
I want to say it's around $50, I think.
I think so too.
That's what I'm
So
recalling.
I
is
think
that
so.
okay to do the same again, or is that enough? It's
No,
up to you guys.
I think 75 at least.
All right, Pat says 75. I feel like an auctioneer. Do I hear 100?
I just think they're so invaluable to our community. And they're all volunteers,
I know. So Pat's putting forth, I guess, a motion for 75.
I'll second it.
Okay, and Sally's
I'll
seconding.
move that we donate $75 to the White Fire Department.
Yay.
Do we have a
Okay,
second?
we'll make it so.
We already did that.
Yes, you did. Everybody did. That right, you did. Pat moved and Sally seconded, and so I guess
Okay,
Susanna's and Sue's also in favor. It's all good. So then
Okay.
we still don't have public. Okay.
and is that it? Is there anything else, April, that's
All
not
I
on the
have.
agenda?
I will send out
Okay.
these reports too. By the way, I usually do. Janae gave me the statistical report, and I do have Christina's and Dennis's, so I will make sure those come out to you. I mean, you didn't need them for the meeting, but you probably need them just for interest's sake. So I will make sure I send those out this week.
Okay, can we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
I'll
I'll
sec-
second it.
Okay, Sally second.
Okay, so Scott was first and Sally
Okay.
was second.
Who seconded?
Thank you for your time.
Eh,
Scott seconded, right?
Yeah, are we done?
Yeah,
I don't
6:45,
know
the
which
meeting
one
is adjourned.
Did you get it, Susanna, who was first and second there? You're good. Okay.
Did you get it?
Thank you.
Okay, the
I
next meeting
forgot
is
that.
July 13th.
Nobody's going to contest
April,
that.
don't go, April. How
Pardon
are
me?
you? Don't go. I just want to ask you, so how are you doing?
I am doing okay. I really
can't believe you
am.
can talk. How can you talk so well?
Well, the swelling of my lip has gone down considerably, but I can feel I have a stitch like at the bottom. It's like my tongue keeps hitting it. The
How do you
stitches
eat?
have been in for 72 hours, so
Oh.
they will dissolve by themselves. And I'm trying to keep them keep them dry. And I have a glue stitch of sorts up on my nose. So, as well as can be expected, it's I
But
just
what-
consider it a process, and I'm fortunate it didn't affect my eyes in any way. I am, I'm going to heal. I'm
That
going
was
to
an
heal
awful
fully from
thing
this.
that
So
happened.
it was
your
pretty
fault?
dreadful. It was. It was very scary. It was hot, and I guess my husband had been petting these dogs for 5 minutes in the sun. I moved over in the shade and offered to pet a dog, and it bit my face. I was like, oh, okay. It was very odd.
Oh my goodness.
The owner said, well, there were 2 dogs, and one of them had gone into heat, and he was a male dog, and I don't know, there's that whole like between the heat and that whole situation, and I don't know, I kneeled down. Maybe I did look at the dog's eye, and apparently that can be an aggressor thing, and I didn't realize it. It was his eyes were gold, and I thought they were interesting looking. And I said that to my husband. I said, look at his eyes, they're gold, no pupils. So it's like probably some
Oh, my
sign I
goodness.
wasn't supposed to, get too close. It's an Amish family's dog, and they're work dogs. In fairness, they're supposed to protect. They keep the fox away from the sheep. So they're not, as domesticated as our dogs. But the fact that my husband was petting these dogs for 5 minutes and they were happy with him, it
Where
was
were
very
you?
strange.
Where were
I
you?
was
in-
like about 3 or 4 miles away. They're an Amish family, and their son has been working on our barn. And we had some metal beams in our barn, we moved here in 1988. They've been here all that time. And we're sick of moving them around. And they make them into other things. I don't know if they can make them into horseshoes or what they do with them, but he was interested in them and we weren't. So we took them over, and he was going to tell us how much they were worth. And in the meantime, we're petting his dogs, and
Oh dear.
yeah, it was nasty, but I'm okay. I mean, it's just annoying is all. And again, I keep saying, I
How'd you
do
get
feel
to the-
fortunate,
How'd you get to the
inconvenience,
hospital?
but fortunate.
How'd you get to the hospital?
My husband was there because
Oh.
he was with me.
I know,
And
but that was good.
so we